What's up, guys? So, today I wanted to do a video. Now, I kind of did one like at the beginning where I went over all the patch notes before they dropped it. So I want to kind of go back and do another video now where I just kind of go over everything they added and how it's played out now that I've got some hours into it. And that way I can kind of reflect on what I said before and we can see what they did well and what kind of flopped. So, I've got all the patch notes up here. We'll just kind of go through. I'm not going to hit every single one of these things or we'll be here for an hour. They did a lot. I will say that first and foremost is that they've never added as much content as they have this patch. It's crazy how much stuff they added this time around. So I'm definitely really happy with that. But let's just start in here. The biggest thing obviously is labs. So, and this is probably something I need to talk about more than most things, just because with labs comes the raiders. So labs as a level is great. The extracts are really cool. The way the raiders work, like they come for you when you try to extract and stuff, that's really cool. The actual aesthetic of the map is great. I get good frames on it for the most part. Everything looks really good. The new quests are pretty cool. They're grindy. The keys are great and rewarding for the most part. Some of them have definitely been getting nerfed. Over time, you can just feel it as you go into rooms that used to have 20 things in them, and now they have 6. So they've definitely nerfed some of them, especially Arsenal from what I've seen. Other people saying, I don't have the Arsenal key. I have ran with an Arsenal key for a little bit, and it didn't seem like as great as when I watched Pestely's video about it. So they definitely nerfed some of them, but they still feel pretty rewarding compared to a lot of the keys. So overall, I think the map is great. The Raiders is the big addition there, and I really like the idea of the Raiders and everything. I think it's awesome. There's definitely some problems with how they were implemented, and I think the best way to just kind of sum up my feelings on the Raiders is I'm going to steal a quote from what Veritas said, I think it was last night in his stream, that if they were like the best players in the world, if it was like I was fighting Raiders and I was going up against Warrun and Smoke and Veritas and all those guys, that would be great. But they just feel like super inconsistent. Like they're either so easy to kill that there's no way that they ever would have beat you because they're doing something stupid like walking backwards through a door or something, or you don't kill them with your first shot, so you get back behind cover, and then as soon as you pop out they instantly head tap you from 100 meters, even if you come out on the other side of an object. So they just feel super weird. That on top of the fact that they can clearly track you through walls and stuff. You can see their flashlights following you. They will shoot through all the glass, like the glass elevators that have the big metal elevators in them and stuff. They'll just shoot right through that metal elevator like it's nothing. So none of those elevator shafts are properly functioning with them. They definitely can shoot through objects that we can't shoot through. A lot of the glass, they'll one-tap you through it. They'll throw grenades through the manager's office glass. I don't know if they can do that with all of the glass, but they will literally toss a grenade right into manager's office, and you're stuck in there with it, and you have no idea how it got in there. So they definitely need to be dialed around a little bit. I personally don't think they're as hard as some people say they are, after having gotten used to them a little bit. But that being said, the main way that I've found to beat them is playing in a group. I've found that solo it's pretty hard, just because the way they track you through stuff. And with a group, it seems like they become fairly focused on whoever's shooting at them. So if you can get their attention and have one of your buddies, go 15 meters out to the right, and you don't even have to go all the way around and flank them, but if you can just get them behind a different piece of cover and you can kind of take turns shooting at them, then they can't keep up with both of you. It's cheesy, kind of. I mean, it is semi-realistic too. It would be much harder if you're getting shot at from 2 directions to keep an eye on everything. But it doesn't seem like they did that in the interest of realism. It just seems like it's kind of like an outcome of the situation. So for solo players, I feel for you there. If you never really play in groups, you might have a hard time, especially since you're not gonna have somebody teaching you the spots that's good to hide from them, and the angles that are good to approach them, and stuff like that, or where they're gonna be at, or where they're coming from. So I definitely feel like solo players got the rough end of it here. Maybe it's like that on all new maps, kind of. It is going to be easier to learn things in a group. You're obviously going to have a better chance against scavs in a group because they're not coming in bigger groups because you're in a group. So you're only helping yourself. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They definitely feel toned down here the last couple days. They seem a little easier to kill. I could be wrong about that. I hope they don't make them too easy. But that, like I said, there's definitely some switches that need to be made there. So let's see what they do. I don't think that they did terrible on them, and I don't think that the changes that they've made so far have made them like brokenly easy or anything. So I think they're doing a good job. We'll see what happens here. We got the new scav boss. I actually have not even personally run into him yet. I don't know how I've managed to do that. I don't play a ton of interchange, but even when I have played interchange, I still haven't ran into him yet. I've heard like a lot of mixed things about him. A lot of people, it's kind of like the Raiders. Like a lot of people say, if you're out in the open, he's going to dome you instantaneously and you're going to have a bad time. Or if he does start throwing grenades at you, he just mortars them into your face like the scav boss guards and stuff did. So, I don't really have any personal information, but I've seen those problems that people are talking about where he'll get real aimbody, but then the rest of the time he seems super easy, so he's just like weirdly balanced. And I've heard that if he threw grenades more, he would be like devastatingly hard, so I don't know if either of those suggestions would really bode well. This is like the one thing besides his gun, the RPK. That's like the two things I really haven't got to mess with a lot this patch. Expansion of customs is sweet. It's not overwhelmingly awesome. I really wish they would have done the other side of construction. Just because with the woods, it's like they didn't like put a new loot spot in out there. Really, there's not anything great out there to do. It does alleviate the choke points a little bit. But it's caused spawn issues for sure. I've spawned in that expansion before and had guys like right in front of me, like we'll crest a hill and they're right there. And I mean, I've killed multiple people doing that. I actually haven't been on the receiving end of that to my knowledge, so I feel kind of bad about that. But I mean, almost every time I've played customs and I spawn on that side, I freaking spawn right behind somebody and we just mess them up. It's just not they definitely need to work on the spawns now that they put that in, but it's definitely good. I hated customs before because of the choke point, so I'm glad they're doing something on that, and I'm sure they'll work out the spawn kinks before long. That's fairly easy to fix now that you've got all that room to work with. So new quests for all the traders, so these are sweet. A lot of them are really grindy, or you have to spend a lot of money. I don't really see a huge problem with that because they're end game tasks. At least for the most part. I think they all are, though. Some of them, I mean, I haven't found a single item for some of these still. I've gotten a few done, like the shotguns one, the silent shotgun one. That's sweet. I love shotguns, so that's right up my alley. I like that there's a grenade kills one that's really hard, actually. You don't get as many kills with grenades as you think. Maybe it's because I've been playing labs a lot, so I've been running into a lot of raiders instead of players. But I've only got one of those so far, and I use grenades like it's going out of style. Like, I've killed a bajillion raiders with grenades, because I carry 4 to 6 every round now that I've got so many because of the raiders. So, even with having all those grenades, man, I've only got one of these, and I throw a lot of grenades. So, I'm sure it's just that I need to play at the other maps a little bit more. Now that I've kind of gotten in on labs a lot, I'll probably start to rotate a little more, but man, I was just having a lot of fun trying out the new map, so especially in a group, like I said, it's a lot of fun. So they added the ability to pick up all the insurance refunds in one mail, 12 out of 10, that's great. It was buggy for a little bit, but this is basically a function of all the new melees added in. We'll talk about that a little bit, but basically now they added in all the new melees. So you can't steal melees off people's bodies anymore. That way you actually have to earn them or buy them. This is a great quality of life feature here. The magazine check animation shows what ammo's in there. That saves a lot of time. These are the new guns. The three that I have are and have used a bunch are the HK, the ADAR, and the Remington 700. I like all three of them. I think they all have their own place. The 700 is definitely underpowered. I mean, it's got 10 round mags, but you can get a Mosin with 10 round mags now, and SV98s have always had 10 round mags. So with them having a lot more stopping power, it's definitely underwhelming. Like, it's already hard enough to kill somebody with a Mosin and 2 hits in the chest anymore. Like, you've got to go for headshots a lot of the time, even with a Mosin. So this rifle definitely suffers from, you got to be good at getting headshots. That being said, if you're using a bolt action, that's probably what you're going for, I guess. So it sounds great and it looks cool. So there's that. I haven't got to use the RPK yet at all. I have seen one person using it. It sounds pretty cool too. I've asked a lot of people, so I went around to like a bunch of the different streamers I know and asked them, and I went and asked some people in my chat and then asked some people in my Discord how they felt about it, just to kind of get a pool of data to go off of. And I got really mixed results. I had some people that said it was great, like they felt like the recoil was significantly better than an AK, and with the new ammo and a 95 round drum mag that they were getting a lot of kills. I think that that's more of a product of the new ammo and the 95 round drum mag. I don't see the recoil from when I've watched it doesn't seem like greatly improved over an AK. It still seems like it's an AK. I don't know. The other end of the spectrum I got was it's a novelty item. It's very expensive, so it definitely doesn't look like the recoil reduction is justified by the price tag on it. I mean, it's hugely expensive compared to an AK, so I kind of lean towards that side. Like, it seems more like a novelty thing, and the real benefit that came out of the gun is the fact that we've got 95 round mags now, and you can use those with other guns. So I don't know. I'll have to mess around with it, and I'll say something later if I know more about it. But these two, though, the HK416 and the ADAR, I'm really impressed with. I never really liked M4s before. I thought they had a really weird recoil pattern, and I've just never used them. I've sold them for as long as I can remember. When I first started playing, I thought they were cool, and I would try to use them, and then I just kind of fell out of it. So I'm glad that they put into ARs that I think feel good now. The HK has a much better spread pattern, it feels like. And then the ADAR, on single fire, any weapon's going to feel a lot different. So even if this had the exact same stats as an M4, on single fire it actually feels pretty good, and then you're not paying the price tag of an M4. So I definitely think it's worth it to run this. Plus, it sounds fucking amazing. I've been talking about this everywhere for days now, but I fucking love the way that gun sounds. So all the attachments and stuff down here, and then the melee weapons. So the attachments, you can model 153 now. Nikita, thank you. 12 out of 10. Best part of the patch. Silent shotguns especially, fucking epic. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. They're really just a vanity item unless you're a filthy hatchling. But I've got the machete. It's definitely better than the hatchet. I haven't really messed around with it a ton yet, but stat-wise, it's better. The sword is the best from what I understand. It's extremely expensive, and it's locked behind a really hard quest, but it looks cool. All the new NVGs, so some of these are really cool. You got the 4-sight one with the wide sight picture, the blue one, which I actually think looks better than the green night vision. I like it a lot. So these are definitely cool to mess around with, try them out. They had some bugs at first, but they seem to be ironed out for the most part. So I would definitely go ahead and try them if you haven't yet. They're pretty cool. All the new helmets, and while I'm here, let's just combine all this stuff here. So we've got all these new helmets. Safety glass, don't really care about that. But then we got the new Comtacs in here. And then we've got all the new body armors and vests. So out of all this new stuff, some of it's useful, some of it's meh. There's a ton of new kinds of armor, which is really interesting. So you've got like, this is like forward armor without the arm protection and a little bit less health, but it has, I mean, not like a third almost of the movement speed penalty. So you could still be beefy and run around. That's nice. That's pretty cool. I really like a lot of the changes they made to have more variations in the armor. So like this one, you can't wear armor with this, but it's an armored rig, so you don't have to buy a rig with it. That's sweet. That's a nice little like quality of life thing. It's a cheaper option for a armored rig that isn't going to be overpowered because you're not going to be wearing armor under it, so that balances out the cost. I think that's cool. And then you've got, like, there's various ones like this. They come in different colors, and some of them are tier 3, some of them are tier 4. There's a bunch of them. Just check them out when you can. I don't want to bore you guys sitting here going over every single armor, but it definitely seems like some are really worth it. You got the new rigs. There's some armored ones that are, I mean, this thing, look at this thing. That's insanity. We got the new Comtacs. To me, they sound a lot like GSSHs. I don't hear a ton of difference. They definitely sound a little different, maybe. But overpriced. Just not worth it. There's no reason you would ever want to run this over GSSHs or Swordens because it costs like twice as much as GSSHs and a good deal more than Swordens. So they definitely need to balance the prices out on it. Once they get around to messing with that a little bit, I think it'll be alright. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. They got this new helmet, so this kind of changes things for the helmet game. A lot of people I know don't wear helmets because of the high cost, but this is only 18,000 rubles thereabouts, and that's worth it all day long for a tier 3 helmet, high ricochet chance. It's going to be the same as any other helmet. You get drilled with a Mosin round in it, yeah, you're not going to survive. It's going to put a dent in the amount of headshots you're taking to buckshot and pistols, SMGs, and stuff like that. So it's definitely worth the investment to go with something like this. So we got the new bags. The other bag, the blackjack one, if you get one of those, sell it. I shouldn't even be saying that on here because now I can't sell mine for as much probably, but sell it. It's worth a lot of money. I haven't even ran one of those because it's selling for like 400 to 500K at a time right now. So I've been selling all of those that I got. But this one's interesting. You can fit a beta in this section right here, which makes this not terrible for like labs because the raiders have a lot of betas. So you can grab one, throw it in there, and then you've got more room in the beta for another one. And then there's another, like you can basically just keep stacking in this top part and then just put stuff you need to get to in the bottom. It's interesting, but it's really annoying sometimes too. And then they've got all these new ammos. So I haven't got to play around with the War Mage ammo yet. I've been told from people that it's pretty good. It's got a lot of flesh damage. It is a hollow point round, so that makes sense. The rip ammo I've messed around with a little bit now. Like against raiders, I would never recommend it. Against players, it's good, especially on labs because a lot of them don't have armor on. I mean, you can just walk around the map just one-shotting people left and right with this because it does so much damage. These new Val rounds, they feel a lot like pretty similar. I mean, it does feel like if people have armor on, that it shreds the armor a little faster, but I haven't seen any statistics on the ammo, so I'm not really sure. It's basically just my anecdotal look at it at this point. And then the 7N39 is definitely good. It's got a lot of pen, not a super ton of damage, but a lot of pen. So, you know, when you're facing raiders and stuff like that that are super juiced up, it's extremely potent against armored targets. We got the magazine case. I've heard it's pretty underwhelming. I've seen it on other people's streams and stuff. It looks pretty underwhelming, but it might be nice to have. It just doesn't seem worth the price that they cost right now. Especially on the flea market. Like, I don't have it unlocked, so I would never buy one for the price that it is. The Kappa secure container, I talked to a lot of people about this today going around, and two much bigger streamers than me, huge like freaking icons of the game for the Twitch community, both told me that they think it's fake based on people like that data mined and couldn't find any information in the items for it. So I'm kind of thinking this is just an elaborate troll based on the name of it being Kappa. I mean, good on them for getting away with the troll, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But I wouldn't bother yourself looking for that. The items case, the new items case, is humongous. It's the same size as a scab junk box, I think. I've seen them side by side and they look really similar. I haven't measured it because I don't have one, but it's definitely nice. It's expensive, but nice, just like all the other item cases. Dog tag case, definitely cool for if you get a lot of kills. I don't, so it doesn't really affect me that much. But I've seen, like Veritas and some of these other guys have full inventories of dog tags in their stash, or like full item cases of dog tags. But now they don't have to have that huge case being wasted. They can just get this. That's pretty cool. Already went over all the new ammo. Don't really care about the food bag. This is just meh stuff here. This does go for a trade, so that's useful to know. Other bug and freeze fixes, which could cause stuttering, various optimizations fixes. Okay, so let's get on to this. So, all of my praise that I gave them so far for, no lie, I mean, a humongous and awesome amount of content. Here's where the big problem comes in, is the stutters this patch have been the worst that they've ever been in the whole time I've played the game. I mean, it's bad. They even implemented something, a new RAM clearing feature that they thought was supposed to help with this recently and stuff. It's bad. It's a new map that just came out. There's a lot of new content. They changed customs on top of that, and then Shroud's been playing the game, Lupo's been playing, Karma, a lot of people have been playing, and then they gave out all the new keys. So there's a big influx of people, a bunch of new content. I can't be super, surprised that the servers are going to be affected in some way. So I'm not saying that I don't understand, but that's definitely going to have to be priority number one. There are some issues in the maps, glitch spots, weird things with keys, balancing issues. I don't care about any of that as much as I care about getting the stutters at least back to where they were. You don't even have to move it forward from point 10, but in 10.2, they put in a change for hit reg and the stutters and stuff, and it felt great. It felt amazing. So it really sucks to be thrown back, even before we were there. So definitely hope they get this worked out. I have faith that they will, considering the next patch is all optimization focused. There will be some content, but it's mostly optimization focused. So I'm hoping that pans out and that they can get that buttoned down. I hope they will. I think they probably will. If not perfect, they'll have it improved. Okay, so these first three here are all exploits that were fixed. I'm going to just go ahead and get this out there now while I'm on this subject, but I'm very glad that they fixed these. It's awesome. That's also a top tier priority. Please stay on that. But while we're on the subject, there are bugs going on right now in this patch, and some of them are pretty bad. There's one on labs that everybody pretty much knows about now. I literally can't go into a certain room of labs without somebody exploiting through into it anymore. And I just want to point out that until people started making videos showing people how to do it, it was rare. It was not super common. It had happened. There were a couple times where I would unlock that door and somebody would be in there, and I assumed that I literally told multiple people they must have implemented the relocking doors thing that they were talking about. They've been talking about that. They must have just forgot to put it in a patch note or something. And then, later I find out what it actually is. If you want to tell people that there is a bug on labs, and, if you're running into people in this room, they're actually using an exploit, and so you should just always beware and act like there's somebody in there. 12 out of 10. That's a PSA. Showing everyone how to do it, for one, if you're going off the guys that you're putting pressure on Battle State to fix it faster, well, it's still not fixed, so you were wrong. And two, the amount of work that it takes to fix a bug in no way correlates with the amount of people committing the bug. That those two things are completely unrelated. The only thing that is going to make that bug get fixed faster is A, people reporting it, which you can do without showing people how to do it, by the way, and B, them figuring out how it happened and getting around to fixing it and working that in. The amount of people that are doing it in no way influences their ability to fix it faster. Maybe it makes it a higher priority, sure, but the reports would have done that. If there was constantly people reporting the issue, and because they knew what was going on, then, or even if they didn't know what was going on, then that would have worked fine. You showing more people how to do it made it worse. You've ruined that level of labs now. I never, like I said, it was rare before. Now it's almost every single match. And if it's not, it's because I literally start super close and sprint straight there, and I have to focus on that. I can't even play the rest of the map anymore. I have to focus that room if I want to get it, because it's one of the only keys I have. So, I buy that key, then those videos come out, well, that key's useless now. Well, thanks. And now every time that room's looted, it's not the way to go about it. At me, I guess, if you need to. But that's not the way to go about it, guys. Let's just let's do it the down low way next time. That's my 2 cents on that. Alright, so that's all we got. Overall, just TLDR, I guess. It's great content. I mean, the content's 12 out of 10. I love this patch. I love labs. I just hope they get the optimization problems down. That's my big thing. Couple little exploits need fixed. Couple things need balanced. But overall, if they could just get the desyncing working a little bit better, and people weren't stuttering around and stuff so much, I think it would make the raiders more handleable, and it would kind of smooth out a lot of the rough edges. So don't nerf the raiders too much, please, guys. Just make them reasonable, not Terminator or absolute crash dummy. And just make them a little more refined, but don't nerf them too much. Keep it up with bringing out all these sweet guns and stuff. I love that. Hopefully point 12 will iron out my biggest complaints with this patch. We'll see what happens there. Thank you guys for watching. I know I get a little rambly on these and they end up being long, but what can you do? I'm streaming over at Twitch. Before it was Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. It looks like I'm going to be switching here soon to more of a Sunday, Monday, Friday because of kids' activities. I've got a little girl who's starting dance for her first time and a son who plays basketball. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're busy with a lot of that. And then on Wednesdays, my wife has some stuff she's involved in that she has to do. So between all that, it's just going to be easier if I switch the days. It'll be a little weird at first, but yeah, look out for me over there Monday, Friday, Sunday from now on. Any extra time I get, I will be on. If one of them doesn't have a game or whatever, I'll be on when I can outside of that. If you guys have any differences of opinion with anything I said, please let me know in a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. If you liked any of the information I gave you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this, I do a video like this, every couple weeks, and then I like to get out some highlight videos, meme videos. I do immersion runs with Veritas. I'm working on another one of those right now. Just a bunch of different stuff. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more from now on. And I will see you guys out there. Thank you for watching again. Take it easy, guys.